Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Ethan Mullet, and welcome to Roster United. Here in Roster United, we will go in depth today in this episode with not just two heroes, but three heroes today. So we're going to go in depth and we're going to talk about three heroes, their stats, their abilities, my experiences with them, and what I have to say about those characters. So let's begin with the first hero. This hero is called Hulk. Now let's go check his number of symbols. He has 5 moves, he has 7 hits, 2 heroics, and 3 wilds. And, of course, he also has his ability, which is Hulk Smash. He has 3 cards with this ability. And what does this ability do? Well, it deals 1 damage to everything else in this location. Then after you deal damage to everything, discard all civilians there. So there's an up and down in that ability, and I have seen that throughout my long history of playing Marvel United, and it's still continuing. So, first off, I'll read you the number symbols again. It's 5 moves, 7 hits, 2 heroics, and 3 wilds. So we see here, just out of the box, Hulk is, of course, a hit and move kind of character. We can see that, obviously. I do like his ability. We see the definition of how strong Hulk is. His ability works a lot. And I've played with Hulk against Ultron, and Ultron's a really good hero. It's a villain. It's a perfect villain, a perfect fit for Hulk, because Ultron, in case you don't know, Ultron places thugs around the board all the time. And if he fills up every single space and every single location in the game, he will win. We see here clearly, Hulk can clear out a section in like 2 turns. He can literally do his Hulk smash. He can move, he can hit everything, which means if you can hit Ultron, you can hit him too. If you can hit his minions, you can do that with Hulk smash. You can clear all the thugs out and put them in the thug card and remember, you need to complete 2 of those to be able to hit the villain. But remember, you can do all that stuff with Hulk Smash. You can literally clear out, basically, an entire location with everything. The problem is, though, the hits do count, which is good. You can put your thugs where they're supposed to go in the little card to fill out 9. But what happens with the civilians, if there is any? Well, you have to discard those. You can't put those in the card that they're supposed to go in. Instead, they're discarded, and you can't use those again, which stinks if you think about it, because sometimes you just need to. Sometimes you need Hulk to clear out a space, but it depends on the situation of the game. Sometimes you do need civilians. But the villain's gonna win in the next turn, especially if he does a BAM or he places any civilians or thugs. So if you have to clear a space, you can clear it easily with Hulk Smash, but sometimes you need civilians to unlock the different achievements in the game. And that can be an an up and down kind of scenario. That's happened to me many times before. I remember I was Captain America, and my teammate was Hulk, and we did win. We beat a lot we beat a lot Ultron. He was a tough character, but we did beat him on the first round, on the first go. And let me just tell you, it was kind of hard, but with Hulk and his ability is just phenomenal. You can clear basically any location when you have that card, and it's just a good ability to have. But the problem is, he's not really a good team player. For me, again, a good team player, he needs to have lots of 2 symbol cards. Hulk does not have that. Not just that, his ability doesn't really do much to help his team his team necessarily. But you know what? He's a great hitter. He's a big hitter, and he's kind of what I like to call him a cleanup hitter. In baseball, Hulk is kind of like a cleanup hitter. So that's what I think of him. Overall, he's a 4 out of 5. I really like that guy. So we just did Hulk, and now we're gonna do our second hero. Our second hero is Wasp. Interesting. Wasp is a really good character. I can't lie. So we're gonna see our number of symbols here. She has 5 moves, 5 hits, 3 heroics, and 4 wilds. Very interesting. Kind of all around, kinda. Her ability. This is a pretty cool ability. She has 3 different abilities. The first one, wings. Wings is her power again. This is what it says. You may move yourself, excuse me, and any number of heroes from your location to any other location. Interesting. So she can move around to any location fast, and not just herself or, yourself or whatever, but also another teammate, and that can really help in many situations, honestly. That's a really good ability. She also has the other ability called Shrink, and this ability says that you cannot take any damage until the beginning of your next turn. So basically, she can stay in a place where it might get bammed, for example, and she can stay there um, with this shield, basically, with this protection, where she cannot take any damage, and that also kind of helps a lot. So we see that right now we're still not done with her ability. She still has one more, but we see right now with wings and shrink, she kind of can do lots of things, and especially with her stats, with her number of symbols, we can see that she is clearly an all-around character. But we're still not done yet. We're still going to go to energy projection, and this ability says that you can move to any location and hit there. So not just like wings, where you yourself and other heroes or characters can come into a location. But with energy projection, you yourself can move to any location, and not just move, but you can also hit there, which is pretty useful. So clearly, we see Wasp as a move and hit character with 5 moves, 5 hits. I really like her stats though, if you really think about it. She can do lots of stuff. She can move around and to any location with wings, and not just herself, but with other teammates. She can also move and hit there, and with Shrink, she cannot take any damage for to the beginning of her next turn. So that is pretty useful, I think. Not just that, she also has 3 heroics, which is average, and wilds. She has 4 wilds. That's above average, and we see here she can kind of do anything. Um, if you kind of think about it, I guess she's more of a move character, just with the ability of wings and energy projection. But I just put here that she is an all-around character. I still think she can do lots of things. I played with her. I think two games. I think I've played with that character, and I've won every time thanks to her, because I have the flexibility of doing basically everything. And you know what? I like that in a character. I some people, like for example Hulk, like more of an attack character, and I gotta say Hulk is really good at that. He's really amazing. But if you want somebody to kind of help Hulk get around the board or save heroes and stuff like that, Wasp is a good character to match with not just Hulk, who's a big hitter, but with literally any other character, because she has the stats to do anything and to help anyone to win a game. So I think that's pretty cool. Wasp is a really good character. So for me, the overall is a 4 out of 5 character, I think. Oh, and before we continue, I forgot to say about the team player. How could I forget one of the most important things? She is actually a really nice team player. I can't lie. She has lots of 2 symbol cards, And not just that, with her abilities, with her especially the wings, she is really good with that, and she is probably one of the best all around characters too. So other than that, again, her overall is 4 out of 5. And let's continue on with the next and final character in the core box. Well, let's go into the final uh, hero, the final hero in the core box. This is Captain Marvel. Now, let's see her number of symbols here. She can move 4. She has 7 hits, 3 heroics, and 4 wilds. So interesting. She's okay. Interesting. Abilities. She has Phantom Blast. She has 3 cards of that, and the ability says that she can deal 2 hits in 1 adjacent location. So, for example, she can be in her location, and she can do whatever she wants there, and then she can play Phantom Blast, which lets her deal 2 damage to any location that is next to hers, which gives you basically 2 options. So that's really helpful too, especially if the villain is right there. You can hit him if he is adjacent to Captain Marvel's location, which for me is a cool end game scenario, especially with that ability. It makes things interesting, and not just that, it gives you a good chance of hitting the villain to end the game, basically, and to win. Or if a location is full too, you can hit 2 um thugs, or defeat a threat character, stuff like that. So that is a really interesting and good ability, I think, and it works perfect for Captain Marvel. So we see here clearly Captain Marvel is a big hitter with 7 hits. That's a lot. I like that her ability basically adds 6 more hits to her count, which is a lot. And yeah, not just that, her 4 wilds again is above average. The average again is 3 wilds, and she has 4 wilds, which is really, really nice. And not just nice, but it's also, well, nice. I guess, yeah, right to say. You can use wilds for anything, and that's really good. Wilds are kind of like team players too, because your team may use the wilds in whatever he needs to do to get the most done in his turn. So I like that a lot. Not just that, Captain Marvel, her team play is actually pretty good. She has 6 2 symbol cards out of 12, which aren't that bad actually. But the one problem that she does have, and I'm probably being a little picky here, she can't do a lot of heroic actions, right? Um, she can't really do a lot of heroic actions. She only has 3 symbols of that. Can she move a little bit, but not the best? But that's fine. Her move is, I think, average, and her heroics is below average, but that's okay. Everything else is pretty fine. Her ability is a big hitter, and yeah, she's not that bad of a team player too. So her overall for me though is a 3.5 out of 5. And the reason for that is because her heroics are a little down. If it was 4 heroics and 4 moves, that would have been fine. But Wasp and Hulk have their reasons and their abilities for them to be a 4. Captain Marvel, her ability is great, but sometimes, and I've had experiences with this, sometimes you don't need to use those 2 hits all the time, right? Some games you don't necessarily have to be a hitter. Sometimes, and especially it depends on the villain or depends how the game is played, you don't have to be a hitter. Sometimes you need to save characters. Sometimes you need to be, sometimes you need to move around the board and save characters or defeat task. That's what you have to do. And that can be tough sometimes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was our 3 character podcast. We hope you have a great day, and thank you for listening to Roster United. See you next time.